Ready, let's go ahead and call the Parks and Recreation Committee to order. If you would review the minutes from the past meeting. If there's any additions or corrections, let us know. Or if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as was presented. A motion to approve by Ronnie Taylor. Have a second. Second by Mark Presley. Any more discussion on this? All in favor, say aye. So we'll move right along. Go into discussion items. First thing under discussion items is playground updates. Mr. Salee.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. We've got the skate park thing up. I don't know if anybody's been over to look at it. We finally got the colored codes and got the paint matched and got everything repainted and up. There's a little bit of construction still going on our part. We're waiting on some warmer weather. We've dug and formed up 2 areas for some pads. We're going to put the 2 benches that are under the Bradford pear trees there by the bathrooms. We're going to put those over there on each side of the sidewalk and place the trash can next to it. Just make it look a little nicer. Where those benches sit under those trees all the time, the birds keep them covered up. So we're just going to have to move them and get them over by the sidewalk. It'll look a lot better. That's about it. I mean, we had the final on as far as P-deck goes, all of our signage and everything's up like it was supposed to be. She signed off on it. I don't know if there's anything left to do or not. I'm thinking that we're all but done.
I did drive by there and I've seen the sign. It does look good. The Trey Park entrance sign. And then I seen the pads have been poured to put the benches. That's correct.
No, we formed up. It's too cold to pour. Yeah, Garrett Brothers has been closed a couple of days, but it's so cold they didn't pour. But
I drove by there before I come up through here.
Yeah.
Everything was lit up good. I seen the security truck there. It's about the only truck down there right now. It's one more car there. About it. Yeah. Anybody got any questions for Cliff about the playground? Any questions? Any comments? I can't wait to spring where they can start wearing it out again. I mean, all righty, we'll move into the next one. This is the big discussion, I guess, tonight is the county pool. Oh, Mr.
Just since we have this photo in our packet of the sign of the wood slabs. Is this what we're going to be doing with?
Well, it's been cold. We took some. I think we've got. I mean, 11 or 13. 1305. 1,305 names. There's a couple of duplicates, but not very many. I'd say we'll use them all because there could have been a couple with the same names. This is something we just went down there and busted the ice off a couple of them, brought them in, cut them up, and started a wall. This would be the idea if we attached them to the bathroom walls around the restrooms. I don't know if there's enough room to do it all or not. I hadn't heard back from Matt Dockery at Tri-Metal about doing the angled climbing wall with the light up backdrop names and stuff. This, we could actually build a straight up wall if we wanted to, and maybe so far up, put climbing cleats on it there. You can get them on Amazon. And we could leave some woods on the ends of some of these. These are cut pretty short just because a lot of them are rotten. But some of them have good wood, and we could actually strategically place those in areas where we could put a cleat and actually make a climbing wall out of this for daytime use, away from the actual Trey Park area, maybe in between there and the restrooms or something like that. Trying to reuse these would be our best bet as far as financial, but it's up to you guys, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, but we needed to discuss this again. Y'all do see it's in our packet, what he's talking about there. And he's not, like I said, he's not got a price back from Doctor on that, what we discussed at the last time at our meeting. So what's the committee's?
We could take this and make a climbing wall of some kind. Sure. I think that'd be.
Anybody got any more input on this? I see y'all talking. Y'all got any discussion or any comments or ideas?
I guess the conversation we were having here sort of revolved around. And I guess we're past at this point in some ways, but I thought I think already the concrete's been laid, things of that nature. The original decision, I think, had been made by this committee was to go a little bit of a different way at some point in the past. Maybe I missed that part, but now that we're looking at wood, that seems like that's behind us. What's our process to keep this from being another just rotted side of the wall? You put wood on the side of a concrete block wall, it's going to rot. What are we? I understand it has a cost if we want to go a different direction, but what are we? What's time worth? What's the movement that's going to take to do this worth? What? Maybe you've got plenty of guys with time to do it right now. I know it's a colder time of year where there's a little bit less necessarily things going on. I'm not saying there's not work for them. I'm just less mowing and things of that nature. They're not in place right now. And I know a lot of that's temporary work in the summer too, but what is it going to cost us to do this work on our own in-house and to install something? And how are we going to install it? Are we drilling holes in every piece of wood, or is this glued together?
I guess I'd like to back up just a little. I don't know what we had decided, what y'all had decided on that you wanted done.
I'd have to go back and look, but we were sitting here to discuss, and we thought we had decided on some stuff inside the concrete in the original walkway. Maybe I missed something. I felt like this committee made a.
I don't know if we actually decided, I just thought about kind of leaning towards
Be metal.
away from the wood.
All the concrete and stuff was done by people that's completely out of my hands. I mean, I had no way of even suggesting that. I know they wouldn't have ever put the bricks in the sidewalk. I asked Larry about that once and that fell on deaf ears. Just like my camera did, you know, my center camera too. They came up the day and said, we're pouring concrete in the morning, you want to get your camera in there. They give me a day to lay 100 feet of conduit and run wire and set my pole, and there's no way. I mean, I just didn't have time.
So we didn't end up with that camera that we.
Not in the center, no, sir. I mean, I've got good cameras around it, but I really wanted that 360 set right in the heart of the park where I could watch things.
Yeah.
We've had vandalism already. People trying to look at the boats on the swings and a lot of graffiti in the slides. We get naked women out of the park, out of the slides every morning. I just didn't.
No, camera didn't work out.
No, sir, the camera didn't work out. No.
I'm not trying to bring that piece to it. I'm guess in going forward, if we're here and this is where we're going, what's our plan to keep this from being how are we putting it together? I said this
won't be
looks like
attached.
laying on cardboard.
That's in the shop.
Right.
Like I said, it's been cold, so we brought them in the shop. These are gonna be laid on 3/4 inch, pressure treated plywood attached to that. That's gonna be attached to the brick wall under the eaves of the restroom. Around that on the sidewalk area where it can be seen. And if there's not enough room there for that, and there's probably not, we can go all the way around the building. Or we can build something like, maybe what you see going into a state park entrance. It's got a little roof over it. We can make a common wall. We can do anything with these that you'd like to do. Or maybe, you know, we've got a new, we get back here to the back of this other one on the grant. Maybe we can get some bricks and get it laid into a new walking trail, throughout the park. There's several options. But no, I don't remember anything being set in place saying I needed to have. I definitely don't remember.
I wasn't pulling it out on you. I want you to hear me on that case. I thought we had passed that point.
We just told everybody
Of not
was
wood.
leaning away from wood. I don't know if there was anything different.
Talking about a sign.
Last meeting we discussed was a sign that he was gonna get a price.
And we're back from Matt. Yeah.
What we saying, though.
Lonnie,
Regarding
the camera in the middle of the park, is there power at all out there?
Hmm.
Nowhere?
Nowhere.
Cause I mean, you can hit it with an AP.
Yeah, no power at all.
Well, that's true.
Wow.
Landon.
If we're gonna move with wood, my concern is how are we going to protect this piece and make it, a, aesthetically the look of what's gonna come our way with this piece. Before I would be willing to look at something like this, I wanna see it, what it looks like on a 4x8 sheet of plywood. These names and it's sitting there, what's it gonna look like? I wanna be able to envision what's fixing to come our way.
All right, we can do that. I know this looks rough. We're gonna take a router and router the tops of them off and just take a little bit of the edge off. I don't know that that'll clean these up. I don't know if we'll be able to use it. They might not be good for anything but firewood or giving them back to the, the people that want theirs back. I've tried to come up with some options. We've reached out to, he spent a week, I've spent a week. The granite is too expensive. We were gonna get in the hundreds of thousands of dollars in just no time in granite. I don't know how many more things we can build this out of. Dockery, yep. Dockery, has brought up this idea of this little arch like we talked about with the names being backlit. But the names are gonna have to be super small or we're gonna have to have a great big wall. I don't know how we'll do it. It's 1,305 names, if I remember right. And then all that is the thin plastic stuff, what you see at the administrative building. We got vandalism now, I don't know if kids are gonna bust this stuff out. I don't know. I just don't think that's gonna be sturdy enough to be put around a playground. I don't know. It was an idea. I thought it was a good idea, but I keep getting whack on everything that I brought up. And I'm out of options, guys. I don't know what you want me to do.
Mr. Slee, I'm not trying to give you slack. I'm trying to look at,
That's not you.
I understand. I just want to hear what I'm saying. I want us to look at what we're gonna say is this piece. I appreciate you saying that you had looked into marble. For the last conversation, that's actually where I didn't go because I didn't have my notes in front of me for that piece. But I know we had discussed a marble, something like the wall that's sitting right out here is what one of the last conversations that I recall, and I thought we had settled in moving in that direction. I didn't realize it had gone to that cost. So I wasn't, if it's hundreds of thousands, it ain't worth moving. I'm 100% agreeing with that.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
100% agreeing with that. So if we're looking at this piece, all I'm asking is, hey, let's take a little time, build one of these in a 4x8 sheet of plywood. What's it gonna look like? What are we gonna be saying yes to? That's what I'm asking. What am I putting my yes to?
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I think when we looked at the marble, I went through, I think it was 7 different companies. And a few of them was out of state, and the ones that were out of state, the cheapest was 75,000. That's a lot for a sign.
That's a lot of itching. It is a lot of itching. I understand.
And so
With these and the 4x8 sheets of plywood, we were gonna try to frame them. If I could get these cleaned up, the way they look right now, it's kind of rough on a picture. Laying there, they look reasonably nice. If we can get them routed or planed off just a little bit, get them cleaned up, and maybe put a little bit of some kind of a coating on them, and then put them behind plexiglass, because if they're on a wall, somebody's gonna try to write on them or scratch on them or something. I can change a piece of plexiglass a lot easier. It's expensive, but it's not near as expensive as having to replace these, having to take them down, find one the right size and whatnot. So we've looked at every option, and the most affordable and reasonable thing is to reuse these. We don't have to do that. We can go any route you guys would like to go.
May I ask the feasibility of just putting how many names? 1,305 names on a sign, on a plaque. It doesn't have to be a billboard size. It is a place of memorial. You can walk up and you can find the names. If you go to any memorial, you'll see a lot of names listed. And you walk up and you view it. You're not supposed to see it from your car. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there as an option. I said that if this doesn't appear to be something that is feasible, a sign. a sign, you know, in memorial, you know, of the people who donated, and they're, you know, that are still alive or that have gone. Maybe, you know, that could be a lot more cost effective. Might last a lot longer too, because, you know, it's metal like these plaques that they have at the buildings when you're consecrating a new building.
Yeah, several, like 2 or 3 deals we're talking about here. We need to sort of narrow it down and give Cliff.
How big would you like the names to be? Let's start there so we can actually start getting the sizes, more sign, different signs.
Only 1,300.
Oh, Mr. Gully's got it. Mr. Gully's got the floor.
I myself like the approach you're looking at. I just want to see what this is gonna take, what it's gonna look like cost wise, before I say, hey, this is where I want to go. I think, I heard you say 2 things a minute ago that I was really hoping to hear. Sand it off, a little bit of a planer through them or something. Just take that outer rough that's been there. I don't know if we've got a planer or if we got somebody that's willing to, in the community that's willing to do that for us.
You got one he's gonna bring, let us use.
Perfect. So those kind of things exist in this piece. Also, I'd kind of like in that case to know what's it gonna take time wise and cost wise to build 1 4x8 sheet. And how many names are on that one approximately? What do we think it's gonna take to do the rest?
Almost 4x8. We had that done in 45 minutes.
That's what I'm asking.
On a rainy day, you know, this would happen quick.
You want to put that in form of a motion to do this or let him bring or more discussion at another meeting?
Be very careful what I'm saying. I put it in the form of motion to see one of these 4x8 sheets, what it's gonna look like and what we're gonna finished product's gonna look like for how many are we talking about? I put that in the form of motion, certainly.
Y'all understand what his motion is?
I'll have them sit in here next meeting.
Any more, I have a second on that motion. Second by Alan Carmen. Is any more discussion on this? Everybody's playing what the motion is. At least Cliff's got some lean or know what to do here and bring something back to it. All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Motion carries.
As part of that, we have to bring one of these in. Hopefully have a deal, okay, with 1,300 names, there'll be this many of these.
We get close,
Okay.
but there's so many variants in
Right.
the lengths of them, it's
Yeah.
just hard to say. We'll get close.
So
Okay,
you can bring us
that's
that information back when? At our next meeting or in February? We'll try to have a meeting in February somewhere.
I like what you're thinking. The rainy day project's a pretty good rainy day project. If we can get to that point.
I mean, we've discussed this long enough. We need to sort of get it narrowed down because Cliff's, I mean, he don't know which direction to go. I mean, we need to give him.
Every time we've asked about this to somebody to try to spit it out, it's just been over our head. I mean, it's shocking what they say.
Yes. All righty. We'll move into, is there any more discussion on this, on the playground? If not, we move into county pool. Looks like Mr. Slade's got us a bid here. Turn it over to Cliff. Yeah, y'all need another one of these?
I think mine fell apart. I don't know. I'm missing that section.
All right, Cliff, the floor is yours on this.
Self-explanatory. I mean, there's the adult pool, the big pool was 116,500. And then the kiddie pool would have been 22,000. I asked him to give me a quote on automatic testing system and an automatic injection system to keep up with these pools when we did the new ones. Simply because the way we treat the pool is when we test it in the morning, if it's low on anything, we give it enough to get it through the day. And from what I've read and been told, is that that's hard on them. These testing systems that'll test and inject a little bit every day throughout the day to keep the water at where it needs to be is a lot easier than overkilling it in the morning and get it through the day.
And that part of this bid,
That's not, no, sir. I asked him to put that in there. It's not. So
Okay.
that's not part of it at all. And we would have to add on to the pump room to make room for it. So it's it's gonna be quite a bit more.
Good.
I think we looked a year or so ago, time misses me here. Is this the same thing that Macon County did when they refurbished their pool? No, okay.
Like, again, I used a rubberized liner.
Drop-in liner.
It's peeling off. I've got pictures of it on another phone, but and I can go get pictures of it. Misty lives there and she can tell you that you can have bodies in behind.
But this is so this is a,
Complete tear out, replaster, complete remodel the pools.
is there a warranty? An expected, I ain't asking for, I know we're using it, as a city pool, it's getting used, it's getting heavily used. But is there an extended, an expected lifespan?
I'd have to ask her, I didn't see it anywhere on here.
I will,
Mr. Tyler?
when I was in college, I worked for a pool contractor and I put in a lot of pools. Some were gunite, some, gunite plaster, some were drop-in, some were fiberglass. I can tell you that using automated chlorinators and water analyzers will extend the life of a plaster pool at least 30%, 40%. Because the chemicals are maintained at a consistent rate. You're not hyperchlorinating at the top of the day, which causes it to break down as the UV rays hits the plaster. It does dry it out when you hyperchlorinate it.
You said that Macon County has got that system now. They got a liner pool, or is that what you,
Yeah.
Macon County has got all?
I went up and looked at Macon County's pool right after they had it serviced. And it's not like if you look at the material, it isn't like a drop-in pool liner. It is more like a Duralast roof type material that was kind of heat welded and put in place. Because of the shape of the pool, they couldn't very well just order one continual piece and drop it in. So it is heat welded in, but it's not the same type of vinyl composition that a pool liner is. I went up there and actually took my grandson to swim classes up there, and I did look at it closely because I happened to work in the pool business at one point in my life.
Nice. We didn't get this, the only bid we got. You couldn't get nobody else to get with you about no bids or nothing, or?
I can say that the amount of work that's involved in doing this, and that bid, in my opinion, looks to be very fair.
I got in touch with two other guys. One of them was supposed to come earlier last year and actually give us a bid of what they said was some kind of a new spray-in thing. Couldn't get him to show up. He didn't show up to look at it, to do
The spray-in material that would go over the top of the current surface is only as good as the substrate. Anything that is applied to the current substrate that's there, if it's loose in any way, then that's going to compromise your spray. So I would have been against that in the first place. That's throwing good money after bad money.
every year when we drain the pool and wash it, I'll take a wooden mop handle and walk around tapping the floor of the pool all over. Throughout the years, it's getting progressively worse, and you'll hear hollow spots, all over the pool. We're starting to see a lot of little spider cracks in the bottom of the pool. They told me the pool that would last about 10 years, and it's lived its life. And, we've patched it, pieced it together for years now, so.
If we opted to go this route, do we have an idea how long it would take? I mean, is it something that it could be done and ready for this summer, or would it have to be shut down for a year? Do we have that information? Basically, how long would it take to do this if we decide this is what we want to do?
On their workload, but there's 2 weeks there. 2.5 weeks, maybe 3, with weather permitting. Removing this stripping the existing plaster is a major ordeal. If you've ever had to go and completely resurface a gunite pool, it's an ordeal. Like I said, this estimate is fantastic on that.
Would you agree with that time frame?
I
Again,
wouldn't think it'd be much more than that.
Okay.
I didn't hear the time frame.
it's 3 weeks max. I mean, if weather permitting and they can get in on it. I mean, there's 3 weeks worth of work there because you got cure times. But again, and adding the expense of adding the analyzers and the automated chemical feed will extend the life of it dramatically. Because like I said, it's the hardest thing you can do is hyperchlorinate a pool first thing in the morning, as you know. Now, is your saline? Is your salt or is it chlorine?
Our mine's chlorine.
Yeah, so it's like the equivalent of shocking it every day. That just dries out.
Yeah.
That's the time frame. We're sitting here in January, which is early in our life. Is it something that we're talking about some other things that are not here in front of us in this bid? The automatic coordinators, some of that piece, I understood that something had to be.
It's in the second section.
Yeah, they said, the automatic coordinator was not in this at
That's
all.
because it's a small pool.
Isn't it this right here?
Oh,
The
that's-
second section where it's $22,000.
That's the small
That's a
pool.
small pool.
Oh, that's for the kiddie pool.
Yeah, that's for the kiddie pool.
I thought this is.
It does
for
say that.
main and waiting.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it does. It's supposed for, yeah, it's supposed for main and waiting pools. Okay.
And just, I mean, I don't want to, dominate the conversation here. It's just going off of my past experience with this, but that is a very fair price. Main and waiting pools to install.
Would make sense to, if that covered both, 22 would be up for a little kiddie pool.
No, that's,
Okay.
And that 22, that's it.
Regardless, that system can be added at a later date because all the draws and injections would happen inside the pump room.
sure will.
So they could tie into the plumbing inside what's already there.
The thing to consider is if we spend the money to refurbish this pool properly with an entirely new gunite surface, I wouldn't want to start out hyperchlorinating it right out of the chutes. I would want to start out with where it's balanced and stays balanced so that we can actually extend the life of it. I wouldn't want to wait a year or two because every day UV rays are the most harmful thing that we've got outside. It breaks down everything, including plaster.
Does the wading pool have an issue? I guess what I'm making sure of. I don't see wading pool in anything but in the pH piece of this. Is the wading pool getting resurfaced or is it just the main pool?
They're both getting redone.
Okay, and that's part of my question in this piece. Secondary to that piece, just a statement here. We talk pools and I don't know where everybody else stands on those pieces. I myself still feel like this pool is a necessary piece to our community for use. Now, with that being said, I did take some time when I saw this because I thought, man, that's a lot of money to talk about on the pool for a short amount of time use. But in saying so, looking back at if y'all know me, I've spoke up many times about not spending our ARPA money unwisely. I'm big on keeping some money set aside, and I've been that way. That's how I look at this. But I also looked back and I can only find one place in the little over $5 million that we spent some money towards our community, people wise. We put it into structures, cars, trucks, needed necessities. I can only find, I think, a little over 600,000 that went into the park from ARPA funds. That is the only money that was spent towards our community. I may be missing something, but I've gone through those pretty in detail. I can name them all for you if you want me to. If this is an item, which I certainly believe it is, we do have the money sitting there for that part to move. There's a little over 470,000 still available. I don't suggest just going through it and spending it, but I don't think we've spent much of that at all on the community. And we can at least spend it in our park. Just my view.
I agree with Lanny, and I'll put in the motion that we recommend this to Budget and Finance with the recognition to use for ARPA.
Yeah.
My next part of this. Government moves a little slow. We are in January. Third week in February is next time Budget and Finance meets. I don't see a way around it. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is if it's a 3-week turnaround from the time we say, hey, fourth week in February, we're looking at March. So that's where I'm headed. Can we get will these guys work with us and say, if you get it by this date in March, we can have it installed by this date in April? If not, I think we're gonna have to hold till after pool season and make this move. Just where the timeframe falls. We've been opening the third week in May.
Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, that Saturday, Memorial Day weekend.
To be well underway in April. in order to be done. So I guess if Mr. Saley could reach out to Madison Swimming Pools and see where we could fall in that. And then as far as their schedule load goes. That'd be a determining factor for sure.
We think it's something feasible, or did Mr. Slade, did you can get hold of them and think it's something? Mr. Taylor?
Worst we can advertise this, broaden our search for installers. Maybe we can get somebody else. There's some other companies that are around, trying to get them to show up.
Well,
Mr. Taylor?
Commissioner Gully, is this a thing where a possible call meeting for budget would be warranted to move this up faster?
Even if we had a called meeting, we don't have time for a call meeting before a commission meeting, which this amount of money for ARPA would have to go through a commission meeting. I don't think we can speed it along. I don't think it's necessary to speed it that far. I like the thought. I'd actually approached it, but when I looked at timeline, I don't see that time fit. I think we're looking right now, best case scenario, at the fourth Monday night in February before we can say yay or nay on where it's headed. And until that day hits, we need to know if that is the case. Are we gonna be okay? I think we can call this meeting and prior to the next commission, next Thursday, that third Monday night, where the finance will meet.
Yeah, we'll call one in February before then.
And then we could have that decision for sure. When I was, all right, yes, it's saying this. Either way, we can get it on that meeting. Are we doing it before the season or are we doing it after the season? It's gonna be the real question here. I think that's.
Of course, if it does have to go after the season, if they can lock a price.
What can we do right there to get that piece? I think that's what we're really talking about.
So that's something that you'll have for us by our next meeting, Mr. Slade. Can you do that for us?
I don't want to make the calls. If you need me to, just let me know what I need to do.
Thank you.
All right, you had a motion?
Yeah,
Thank you, motion.
motion, move that we recommend recommend approval of this to finance committee. And use ARPA funding.
For a recommendation and a favorable recommendation from this committee.
Yes, to finance committee.
I have a second on that. Got a second with Mr. Presley. Is there any more discussion? Everybody understands what the motion is? Mr. Gully?
I want to state this before we vote. I'm going to vote no because we don't have all those answers yet. I want it to come in February from me. As always, I want you to know why I'm voting no. I am for this, but not tonight. Just clear.
Got a motion and a second, Mr. Carmen.
I was looking at a whole different direction, or just wanting answers on a whole different direction. Is it worth looking at? They're just redoing the whole thing to make it maybe more people would like. I mean, it's kind of plain in my opinion. I mean, I don't know what a new design, a whole new pool or anything that would cost, but.
Well,
Hold up, go ahead, finish up. Okay, Mr.
once you remove this plaster, you're down to earth and rebar. Because it's sprayed over the top of the rebar. So you are starting over with a new hole in the ground. Barring that there's been a bunch of undermining that may have happened, you know, where it does have a provision in there, which we don't know that until we take the water out. And, you know, even if there is undermining, it's a repair. But the hole is the hole in the ground. And then with the difference between a steel wall or polymer wall pool with a drop-in liner, a fiberglass one piece, or in this case, which is rebar and spray and gunite. It's a spray and gunite plaster. Once you strip this surface off, you're back down to you're down to the rebar. So you are starting over with a new hole in the ground, basically. You're just taking away, 13, 14 years of UV breakdown of the plaster. You're just taking that out and resurfacing the entire thing. I mean, otherwise you're looking at cutting out all that rebar and digging a new hole. I don't know that this ground is going to settle too much more than it has. So reapplying after 14 years of settling is a good thing, because the earth is moved. I mean, what is there? Water's 8 pounds a gallon. So that would put me in the, state that we're close to 1 million gallons or 1 million pounds of weight that's been sitting on that earth for the last 13, 14 years. So you take that into consideration, the soil compaction is done, and you don't get that with a new hole. We can dig a new hole, put a new structure in, spray it. 2 or 3 years, it starts to settle, we start cracking. And there's some merit gained in resurfacing this versus starting with a new hole. I just want to make sure you're aware of that, because that is a risk you take.
I understand what you're saying. I was talking whole new design, like basically a whole different.
Be a whole lot more than this.
Well, I know that's just what I was wondering, how much, and
Be a whole lot more than this.
if that would be, everybody likes new stuff. If that would bring in more people and more people get use out of it, that's all I was asking.
I mean, in the original plan here, everybody was wanting an indoor pool, everything, we got what, I mean,
That's in the 10-year plan.
10-year plan, yes.
Yeah, you'd be looking at close to 450. 5 1/4, depending on how elaborate you go.
And we still got to start talking about getting a pool open this year, lifeguards, all that stuff again. I mean, that's something we got to start talking about now or February. I mean, our next meeting. I mean, that's on us here too. So I mean, we got this plus trying to get the employees and everything, make sure everything's lined up for that. Got a motion and a second, Mr. Presley. Does everybody understand the motion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say no.
No.
Right, I need a show of hands. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 4. All opposed? Motion carries. So I will try to schedule a meeting sometime in first or second week of February. You think you can have us the information we need by then, Cliff, on this? Do we need to discuss tonight about the employees and trying to get the pool up and going? I mean, it's something we need to, Mr. Gully.
First question, Mr. Sleep, did you have any concerns with anything from last year's plan?
We've tracked down the instructor that gave the meeting. Or the classes, are you talking about?
Well, payment, everything, the whole structure is set up.
I mean,
Anything in there you'd want to change?
only thing we talked about that the pool parties didn't do good last year. We's gonna have to look about lowering the prices or something like that, or
They have a 1 year on the plaster and stuff. That's just to get you through the settling phase, cracking phase. And on that changing everything, I'd like to see it different too. But what's in here is to tear out and replace. If we went different, we're talking about all new plumbing, everything. Back to you, I'm sorry.
I missed what I wasn't saying that. I'm past this. I'm saying the plan we had for the pool, the
Yeah.
payment for lifeguards, the time for setup, the dates, those things.
The pool parties.
Okay,
We priced ourselves out of pool parties.
okay, so they were too expensive.
Everything.
and I didn't bring my minutes from last year on about the pool party prices.
I can find it if you give me just a moment.
I think we moved to like only a 2-hour party. And
Just give me just a moment and get my Google Drive call up.
So while he's doing that, do you think we're gonna be in good shape on lifeguards? Or what do we need to do as far as trying to get that line up and the training and?
Track down the lady that came and gave us classes in-house, this last year. We're gonna try to get her to come back this year. It saved us a little money and it happened, it's a whole lot smoother to get these kids to show up here versus having to drive 3 days a week somewhere. We just had a lot better luck with her. I feel like that'll be good again this year. We've already got one that's excuse me, that's looking for a job, wanting to come back and be a lifeguard again. And ground still froze, and you know, this happens every year. I say it at every meeting. They're not interested until the sun comes out and it starts warming up a little bit, so we'll start handling them at the school. We'll get some flyers out there and post it up on the message boards or anywhere we can get them out there and get them online. As soon as we can, get a manager to get on social media and really get it pushed out there, we'll.
So what are we looking at for a manager? Not the ones from last year or?
I'm hoping to do better than that. I hadn't talked to her for sure yet, but I'm hoping the one we had a few years back comes back.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
If I can get Casey Stovall back, then we'll do our best to keep her.
okay, at February 2024 meeting, yeah, we voted to keep the pricing the same as it was in 2023, but remove the 3-hour option. So let me go back and see if I can find 2023, what we changed it to. Okay, 2023, we changed it to $125 for a 2-hour party with less than 50 people. $190 for a 2-hour with over 50 people. And $225 for a 3-hour. That change was made in 2023. I said, and last year we voted to keep it the same.
So just less than 50 people was 125, greater than 50 people was 190.
Yes.
The 50 people, if I remember that correctly, was due to the number of lifeguards needed.
I believe you're right.
Did you heard any prices of the surrounding counties, what they did for boat parties or anything?
$200 for 2 hours, unless they went up. It's either 200 or 225.
That's what I'm saying. I thought that price range we was in was good. I thought, I mean, evidently, I don't know. But there's a lot of people's got their own pose at home now too, or different.
Say we go back to whatever it was in 2022 and even just to see what it, you know, if it, you know, if the number of parties goes back up.
I understand if the parties go back up, but we were losing money on the number of, on the cost to run that party at that time. Didn't make sense to lose money on. It was costing us more to pay the people than we were getting for the party.
Okay.
In that's why we changed.
Like what we did decide to do was, have the late nights on Saturday, because we made more money on Thursday nights than we did any night, party or not, so.
That's one thing I was gonna ask about, if we could add a second late night this year, because you know, we've done Tuesdays and those seem to do real well, and I think we think there'd been some interest in adding a second one.
Let's get back to the Poe parties. Y'all prices same as we've been having them, or you think we need to lower them since the Poe parties was down last year? But I mean, if we lower them, I think it looks reasonable to me compared to what make it. I mean, look,
It might be 150, but I can check and see how much they were.
Just this building here rents for 200. I know it's for any amount of time, but there's no other workers going into play of that. This is still under that at any of them. If you think we're off on our parties, that was a piece that was always an offsetting cost. Parties helped out. We'll go to what you suggest. I don't know, is there a suggestion you would have on that?
Okay, all right, we need to check, see just how comparable we are. I know we can't compete with Jimmy Floyd, places like that. It'd still be good to know before I said that's.
All right, February meeting, can you at least get checked with maybe Smith and Macon and around and see what their pool parties is and have that figure for us by our next meeting? And gonna go ahead and try to start getting the word out for lifeguards and manager and of that nature. Mr. Gully.
Do we want it in front of us, or we want to go and say, we're gonna pay it the same rate we paid last year on every, and be decided on everything for the parties?
Y'all wanna make that tonight or wait till our February meeting? I mean, this is.
I think we can go ahead and set that part of it tonight and leave the decision on the parties.
You want to take a motion in?
Motion, our payments be the same rate they were last year, but for each of the positions at the pool.
Lifeguards, manager, assistant manager.
Yep. With the bonuses that were available for those returning employees. It saves us money if somebody returns to us end of the year, they stay with us. I think we also did that for those that train, we paid for their training, and if they stay, we gave them a portion as well. Same exact numbers from last year.
Okay, so having us pay for the training is part of your motion too?
The same exact option we did last year, 100% same way we did last year.
I'll second this motion.
Do you want to go back and look and read to us what that is for everybody on? If you can't find it, we got to, we can. I think we all.
But you have to look through each set of minutes to see.
January, February.
I thought we did it earlier. That's what I'm trying to look through. We set it at 10 now for lifeguards, 12 for the assistant manager, 15 for the manager. That was 2023. Did we change it last year? I mean, I know we added the bonus thing in the paying for the training, but I don't know that we changed the pay rate. Pay rates themselves, did we?
Yeah. I should have, I didn't go look back, Brian. I should have brought my stuff back from last year at that meeting.
Get it all pulled up and attached to the agenda for next month.
I don't see anywhere that we changed the pay rates. You know, we added the sign-on bonus.
Is that in February of last year meeting or March or?
Adding the bonus was in January meeting last year.
So we added the sign-on bonus.
Yes, the motion by Gully to pay $200 sign-on bonus for certified lifeguards who returned from last year and or lifeguards certified elsewhere and to pay the certification fees. So we made that change January last year, but it doesn't look like we changed the
fees from 23.
Like the pay, the hourly rates for the employees stayed what it was in 23, it looks like.
Do you want to still do the motion?
I understand what that was.
All right, state your motion again.
That we continue to pay at the same exact rate we decided upon last year.
And then you make a second.
Yeah.
Is there any more discussion on this? Any more, all in favor, say,
Everything the same. Make sure we're clear.
everybody, all in favor, say aye. All opposed. Anything else we need to bring up on the pool? I mean, I mean, this time of year, we gotta get, I mean, it's really not like to start bringing it up in January and February. I'd be here on top of us before you know it. Cliff, anything else you need to ask us or we need to discuss on this?
Do we need to set that date of Saturday? Write a motion and go on.
The opening date?
I think we can, well, I think setting the opening date in that would, what probably could wait till February because
Yeah.
Cliff will hopefully have his answer, you know, that, yes, they had to get this work done by
Yeah. let's- let's
May or
probably-
whatever. So, yeah, I think we want to hear Cliff's, the answer to that before we make that decision.
All righty, we'll move on from county pool to the upcoming grants. This something you want to discuss with us, Cliff?
The idea was, is it something I need to go on here?
Y'all, if y'all would, if y'all want us to discuss this upcoming grants, said what is needed from our committee's approval of the above proposal or a specified focus of the new.
Entirely missed that other grant, or we heard anything yet?
The Blue Cross, yeah, we didn't get it yet.
Are we reapplying?
I think you could reapply, but it's like August or something, I think.
Yeah, a different brand. It looks
Do
like.
we have any idea what we missed?
I didn't, she didn't tell me, or I didn't say nothing about why we missed.
Ray Bolden went through it. They didn't get their first time here.
But I think like in August is when you reapply for it or something, but that's something we gotta stay on top of to get reapplying for. Like I said, I just got this too the other day. I mean, I'm just now reading, I mean, I read over this deal, everybody would over, look at it.
Basically the same thing that we applied for with the Blue Cross. So
Blue Cross was 50-50.
Oh, Blue Cross it was no matching. Yeah.
no, but the proposal itself is the same. How we pay for the proposal is obviously different. I guess my only question is if we approve this proposal, are we saying that, we also agree that we're willing to do the 50-50 match? Because
Oh, that money comes.
that might change some minds.
It says, I mean,
Could this be applied to the pool renovation if we were to get it?
says we learned of the January 5th. We learned of the January 15th intent to apply a deadline early in January. To meet this deadline, we filed an initial letter of intent of the, I mean, y'all read it just like I have here. It looks like it's just something that's come on us here in January or.
What the application deadline is either.
Oh, that's something we probably needed Amy here to.
It does say that we're not fixed or locked into a specific project or idea, so if we were to obtain this, we could apply that towards the pool.
Okay, according to state website, the intent to apply application deadline was January 14th, but I guess she filed that. Full application to be submitted by April 1st. So we've got time, I think, to get some of the answers on that before we make a decision.
So we got April 1st.
Yeah,
But it does clearly state that we're not locked into a specific project or idea. We just had to have something in the initial submission for the letter of intent. So, I mean, we could, if you wanted to, you could apply some of this towards the pool. Just a thought.
yeah, but we don't know. April first is the deadline to submit the application, doesn't say when they would. announce
Understood.
what they-
When it came, you know, be in place.
But if we're looking to have this, if ideally Madison can have this done and have it done in May, there's no way we're gonna have that LPR, that grant funding and that pay for it and have that funding in place by May.
No, maybe not.
And this is something I can put off, and we can discuss more with Amy and have more answers for this in our February meeting, Mr. Gully.
What you're reading there from that, does it say anything about if we apply and are accepted, are we locked in? Or do we need to ask that of somebody else?
That's probably an Amy question.
That's what I'm saying. We might need to put this off and try to get more answers, and maybe have her here at our February meeting, or I can get with her and try to get more answers if she can't be here.
Yeah, I think we need that more of these answers before we take any action on this.
So if we would, we'll try to discuss this more in our February meeting.
And I wish she was here to be able to answer this. Does she need approval or I guess, could we give conditional approval? No, based on some of these answers, no, so that she had something in paper saying, yes, we approve, but when we want to hear more information before we.
I mean, I think it's something we need. I mean, I don't know about where the money come from, the 50%. I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
We definitely need more information before we do this. I guess I'm just wondering, I guess I wish you clarified, does she need approval tonight to be able to move forward with this, or?
I mean, down at the bottom, it says what is needed from this committee is approval or a different focus.
So the proposal, do y'all approve this proposal here, what they proposed? Mr. Gully?
One for sure, proposal piece, I'm nowhere understand why we would even look at is $50,000 to the master plan. We just spent 20-something thousand on the master plan 3 years ago. It looks like a pretty good master plan. I see no reason to leave that in this proposal.
That is a little high. It looks like.
In my opinion.
It's just, I don't think we can act on this now. We've not got enough answers. I mean, we can bring it back up in February. If she can't be here, I'll try to get more answers or whatever. Cause it's, like I said, that's one big question right there. I mean, he's brought up. What's a committee's?
Well, $50,000, I mean.
Yeah.
I make a motion to postpone to the next meeting.
All right, I got a motion to postpone this to the next meeting. Second, any more discussion on this? All in favor, say aye. All opposed. All righty. Looks like we down to others. Anything else we need to bring up tonight? We do need to pick a meeting out in February. Let's look, see if we can find us a good date.
And it needs to be before finance committee.
What's best for y'all? Tuesday night, Thursday night? I mean, Tuesday.
Okay, too.
What about February 11th? I reckon there's any more meetings scheduled for then? Anything February 11th? At 6 o'clock?
I like both on the same night. We'll get with David and see what he's planning on.
Well, we need to get ours 1st of February. I don't know when he's planning on scheduling, but we need to get ours sometime first, second week.
Another one at 7, do this at 6 on 11, be fine.
All right, let's put February 11th at 6 o'clock for this meeting. That good, good date with everybody? All righty. Anything else on the other we need to bring up? Any public comment? Shaq, you got anything? I hear a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn, second for Presley. Thank y'all for coming.